Students, so today we will start the chapter, that is our lecture number 2 of the general portion, uh, which is the model 1. Okay, so this is the subject name, that is environmental science. The subject code is MC 401 or 301, and the contact hour is 24. These are the some of the course objective. Uh, you can understand the natural environment and its relationship with the human activities. Excuse me. You can apply the fundamental knowledge of science and engineering to assess the environmental and health risk. You can understand, environment laws and regulation to develop guideline and procedures for health and safety issues, and you can solve the problems with your fundamental knowledge which is related to the environment, like air, sound pollution, land pollution, water pollution. Okay, so these are the some of the course outcome that we have for our course. That is, you can understand the natural environment and its relationship with human by applying the fundamental knowledge of science and engineering. You can assess the environmental and health risk. You can develop some of the guideline and procedures for health and safety measures for the environmental laws and regulations, and also you can acquire some of the skills to solve the problems of related to the environment. Now these are the lecture plan. Okay, objectives. Today our class objective are, that is we will discuss about the energy sources. Okay, energy resources. We will discuss about the alternative energy source. Some of the alternative energy source also we will discuss, and we will derive the population growth. What do you mean by population growth? What are the effects of population growth on environment, and how we will derive the population growth? That all these things we will discuss in our today's class. Yeah. So these are the some of the topics that we have discussed in our previous class. First of all, we have discussed the components of environment. Okay, and also we have seen the classifications of the resources and the classification of natural resources. Also, these are the things that we have discussed. Next, we have explained what are the forest resources we have, water resources we have, mineral resources we have, and after all we have discussed the Chipko movement. Okay, components of environment. Now this is very important, okay, for today's class also. So for the environment we have two components. One is abiotic. All the non-livings are belongs to this category, and another one is biotic components, which are living system. Whatever living systems we have, that is called biotic components. Okay, abiotic components again of three types. One is lithosphere, hydrosphere, and atmosphere. Lithosphere again of three types, hydrosphere again of two types, and atmosphere, the some of the layers we have in our atmosphere, that is troposphere, stratosphere, then mesosphere we have, then we have thermosphere, and then we have exosphere and ionosphere. So these are the some of the layers that we have. For hydrosphere we have surface water and groundwater. These are the two types of surface hydrosphere we have. Surface water generally are of two types. One is saline water. Saline water means the water rich with the salts like sodium chloride, calcium chloride, magnesium chloride. Okay, and next is the fresh water. And here lithosphere are of three types: igneous rock, sedimentary rock, and metamorphic rock. So these are the three types of lithosphere that we have. Okay, for biotic components, which is called also by the biosphere, all type of living elements here belongs to this category. Okay, so there are two types. One is plant kingdom, obviously, and one is animal kingdom. Okay, so these are the all the components of the environment. So these are the layers of the earth atmosphere. First of all, we have the troposphere, which is 10 kilometer in the extended. Next we have the stratosphere, which is our ozone layer, which is protecting us for the UV from the UV radiation of the sunlight. Next we have mesosphere, then thermosphere, and then exosphere and ionosphere. Ionosphere means the all the ions we are having there. Okay. Okay. Next we have discussed, that is environmental degradation. Environmental degradation, nothing else. Whatever for our development, whatever we are doing for that, every day we are polluting our environment. The environment is degrade. Okay, what are the causes? That is overpopulation, urbanization, industrialization, we are deforestation. Okay, so to rapid increased radiator transportation. So these are the some of the causes that we have for which environment is degraded day by day. This is all the pictures of environmental degradation that we can see. Okay, this is the classification of natural resources. So resources are of two types. One is renewable, one is non-renewable. Renewable means which can be renewed, which can be used again and again. Okay, so we can use the direct solar energy as a renewable resources, or we can use wind, tide, water. Okay. Next, non-renewable means these sources, energy sources we cannot use for a long time. Okay, at some time it will be finished. It will be exhaustible. So, like fossil fuel, metallic minerals, non-metallic minerals like clay, sand, phosphate. Okay, so these are the all the non-renewable resources. Resources again are of two special type, that is the potentially renewable, like fresh air, water, soil, plants, animals. They are they are belonging to this category, that is potentially renewable resources. Okay, and natural resources again are of two type. One is non-renewable, one is renewable. Okay. Okay, classification of natural, whatever I have told you again, that is renewable and non-renewable resources. So generally, non-renewable resources after some time, by use of the non-renewable resources, it can be finished one day. So that is why we are more focusing about the renewable, about using of the renewable resources, like solar energy. Okay, so now this is a potentially renewable resources, like as I told you, solar energy, wind power, hydropower, geothermal, biomass energy. Okay, so this all we can use as our renewable resources, which is very potential, and as a alternative source of the energy. Okay, these are the food resources. Generally, food resources means we are getting whatever agriculture, fruits, we are having the crops that we have, that is all our food resources. Okay, food resources, two terms are related, that is malnutrition and okay, so Yes. Malnutrition means whatever we are in taking as a food. If we don't take the food in a balancing manner, like protein, minerals, vitamins, all carbohydrates, all should be in our food. So that time we should have the malnourishment. Okay. And undernourishment also we have, that is, if we have the scarcity of food, that time the minimum energy that we need to do some work, need to do to live, so that is called by yes, that is called by undernourishment. Okay. Yeah, land resources, they are the land resources. This is the some of the whatever the surface, whatever land we have, that is soil, rock, these are all mm, uh, these are all in belongs to this category, that is the these are all called by the land resources. Okay. So every day by our activity the land is getting degraded. So the land is degraded by our activities every day, whatever like from industry, from factory, whatever the chemicals are mixing to the land, all type of non biodegradable materials, that is all polluting the polluting our land resources. Also by the action of our deforestation, for the urbanization, we are cutting the trees, so that is also a main cause of the land degradation. So these are the some of the mineral resources. Also this is forest, all type of the green plants the are our forest resources. Yeah, this is about the Chipko movement. Chipko movement, generally, we have that movement in the year of 1987. What they did, they just hold the tree as a protest against the cutting the trees, and this was a great success. The protest was great success, and so they are protesting against the deforestation for our sustainability. So we should be concerned, all we should concern about this. Okay, so these are the some of the energy resources. Energy resources are of two types. One is, as I told you, that is renewable, and one is non-renewable, which is inexhaustible, and one is exhaustible. Okay, so like solar, wind, water, geothermal energy, nuclear energy, biomass. So these are all in renewable resources, and non-renewable resources like fossil fuel, coal, oil. Okay, so these are all called the non-renewable resources. And now these are the some of the alternative energy resources that we can use to preserve our to preserve our resources. Okay, non-renewable resources we can use. These are the things like wind energy we can use, solar energy we can use, geothermal energy we can use, nuclear energy, biomass we can use, or hydroelectricity we can use. Okay, so these are the some of the energy, alternative energy sources to preserve the to preserve our uh, non-renewable energy resources. Okay, now hydroelectric. Hydroelectric means generally what we do, we create so many pressure with the water, and with the water flow under a pressure, and that pressure converts into the electricity. Okay, by using the water turbines. At present in India, about 24% of the electricity are generated by the hydroelectricity. Okay, and among which 80% is generated in the Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Kerala, Punjab. So in these states, they are using the hydroelectricity as their alternative energy resources. So this is nuclear energy. Nuclear energy, what will happen due to the fission and fusion reaction? The huge amount of energy is generated with the help of this equation given by Einstein, scientist Einstein, that is E equals to mc square. We can calculate how much energy will be generated if one fission or fusion reaction will taking place. So this energy then we can use as to convert the electric energy. Yeah, nuclear atomic energy is the most powerful kind of energy known so far. A small quantity of radioactive material can produce enormous amount of energy as it is fission and fusion reaction. So that is why the small quantity that is why the radio small quantity of radioactive element can produce so many energies. Okay. Okay, now bioenergy. Bioenergy generally related biodegradable materials. Whatever biodegradable materials we have, if we use them to generate the electricity, that is called by bioenergy. Biomass defined as living matter and its residues is renewable source of energy. The biomass Yeah, the biomass includes all the new plants' growth residue and waste, algae, agricultural sewage, forest residues, domestic residues, all type of biodegradable organic effluents from industry like sugar, slaughterhouse, meat packing plants. So these are the all resources from where we can generate the bio energy. Biogas is a sustainable source of energy by virtue of its production from the vastly available natural organic waste. Simplicity of construction, operation and maintenance of the production units. So biogas, if we use the biogas to produce the energy, what will happen? The maintenance charge is very low. The system is very the operation, the construction of the system is very simple and user friendly. So that's why we can use the biomass as the for the energy production. Okay, also we can use one more thing, that is the hydrogen as alternative source of energy resources. So hydrogen is colorless and it is found in earth in the combination with other elements like oxygen, that is water, like carbon, nitrogen, etc. So today hydrogen is used primarily in ammonia manufacturing. In ammonia manufacturing process, the hydrogen will be using. For petroleum refining process, the hydrogen is using. Or for the synthesis of methanol, and also in the space shuttle, the as a fuel, we also use the hydrogen gas. Okay, so these are the all the alternative resources. If we don't use the non-renewable resources, if we reduce the use of non-renewable resources and rather we are focusing about to use the alternative renewable resources, that will be very beneficial for our sustainability and also for the environment. Okay, now another important topic is that is population growth. So, population growth is generally the rate of the population growth means how much the population is increasing with respect to the time. Population growth refers to the patterns governing how the number of individuals in a given population changes, how the population is changes with respect to time. The population growth generally can be of two types. One is exponential growth and one is logistic growth. Yeah. So, yeah, one is exponential growth and one is logistic growth. The population growth can be of two types. One is exponential growth and logistic growth. So, exponential growth means the exponential growth of a population. Generally, here for this type of growth, we are considering that the birth rate can be increasing throughout the specific time and is never hindered by the absence of food or the disease or the effect of disease. And for the logistic growth, generally we consider that while the birth rate is increasing at a limited amount, after that we have some after that the birth rate will be constant due to some natural calamity, like some disease, like some the lack of food. Okay, so this is called logistic growth, and this is the real graph, because in real world situation it is very common for population to be restricted by the disease, by the lack of food. Okay, now we will discuss about the derivation of the population growth, which is very important. Okay. So, from this portion, you can have this type of question: derive the exponential population growth or derive the logistic population growth. So, this if you know the derivation of exponential population growth, then you can also write down the logistic population growth. Okay. So this is exponential population growth. Now look, dn by dt, that is proportional to the capital N, sorry, where capital N, yes, where capital N is the population at time t. Okay, and t is the time. Population N is the capital N is the population at time t. Now look, the birth rate, the dn by dt, that means the rate of change of population obviously depend on the how many populations are there. Okay, so that is why dn by dt, that is obviously proportional to the capital N. Now dn by dt, that is equals to, if we remove this proportionality, then we have to take a constant, that is r, capital small r. Okay, so this is called the population rate of the population. Okay, so dn by dt, that is equals to rn. R is the rate constant of the reaction, exactly. So, if we take the integration of dn by n, that is equals to r into integration of dt. So, what will be the next step? Yes. So, for this integration dn by dt, integration of dn by n, what does it what is the integration of this? This is the integration, that is ln n, that is equals to RT plus Z. Z is the integration constant. Now we have to calculate this Z value. So we know that at initially the population is initial population N0, that is the initial population. Okay. So if we put all this value here in this equation, what will happen? We can get the value of Z. So Z equals to your ln n0. Yeah. Now this Z value again I am putting here, right here. So in this equation, so this equation become like this. That is ln n equals to RT plus ln n0. Is this clear to all? Yeah. Okay. So next we can write down like this ln n by n0, because this ln n0, if we take this side, that means ln n minus n0, right? So ln n by n0, that is equals to RT. Next we have, so n equals to, if we remove this ln, that means the base will be come here, and whatever we have the this side, that will come as a power of the exponential, right? So n equals to n0 into e to the power r into t. So you can see that from this equation, if this is the equation number 1, from this equation you can see that population is dependent on the time exponentially, e to the power rt exponentially. Okay? So that is why it's called exponential population growth. Okay. Yeah. So next, the important is, that is the doubling time. For the exponential population growth, what is the doubling time? Doubling time means the population at this time, the population will be twice. Whatever the initial population, that will be twice in the doubling time. So this is our equation. You know already we have derived, that is n equals to n0 e to the power rt, where n is the population at time t, n0 is the population initially, r is the rate constant, and t is the time. Okay. So this is this equation already I have derived the in my previous slide, right? So now we are discussing about the doubling time. So doubling time means double. So when n equals to population time, already I have told you, that is r equals to rate constant. Hence at doubling time, what will happen? Look. So t equals to td. Here time is the doubling. TD means such a time doubling time. Okay. So at the doubling time, what will happen? The population will be twice of the initial population. Okay, that is why this is called doubling time. So if these values we will put here, what we will get, that is 2n0, that is equals to n0 e to the power r tt. Tt means doubling time. Now we have to find out what is the doubling time. So ln t, yes. So if we remove this e, that means we have to take here ln. So ln2, that is equals to ln2 equals to rtd. So td equals to ln2 by r. Yeah. ln2, what is the value of ln2? All you know, that is 0.693 by r. So this is the doubling time of the exponential population growth. Okay. So that is equals to 0.693 by r. Okay, now logistic growth. Logistic growth, this is the expression of the logistic growth. Okay, that is dN by dt, that is equals to R max K minus N by K into N, where K is the rate constant. Okay, sorry, K is the carrying capacity. Okay, now what will happen, dN by dt, this is the graph of the exponential growth model. So always you can see with respect to time, the population size always increasing, right? But here for the logistic growth, you can see the population growth will increase at a level. This is a level that is called specific level, that is the limit, that is the carrying capacity. After that, what will happen, that will be constant. Okay, the population will be, the rate of the population will be constant. So this is the logistic, this is called logistic growth rate, the logistic growth curve. So from this portion, generally you can have this type of question, what are the differences between exponential growth model and logistic growth model, and explain with the graph. This type of question you can have from this portion. Okay, now we will discuss about the maximum sustainability yield. Maximum sustainability, actually it can be defined as a maximum rate at which individuals of an ecosystem can be harvested without reducing the population size. So maximum rate, this is defining as a this is the maximum sustainable yield, means maximum rate where the individuals, for any ecosystem, the individuals can be harvested without reducing the population size. The corresponds, the population size is n, which is half of carrying capacity, that is K by 2. Okay, so maximum sustainability L, that is equals to dN by dt maximum. It can be denoted by dN by dt maximum. Okay, so that is equals to Rn 1 minus n by k, that is equals to Rk by 2 into 1 minus k by 2 by k. So that is equals to Rk by 4, which is equals to R0 k square by 4 k minus n0. So this equation you have to memorize, okay, because you don't have uh, the derivation of the maximum sustainable yield in your syllabus. So that's why just remember this thing, and from this portion you can have this type of question, how you can define the maximum sustainability yield and sustainable yield, and what is the importance, of maximum sustainable yield. Okay, so this type of question generally you can have from this portion. Okay, now we will discuss the effect of excessive use of resource due to the overpopulation. So if we have the overpopulation, the growth rate of the population will be very high. What will be effect on the resources? Obviously, all type of resources will be consumed in a large amount. Non-renewable as well as renewable resources, which is harmful for the environment. So due to the increase of the human population, which increase the pressure on the natural resources, due to his destructive activity, for our destructive activity, we are doing the development. For our development, every day the nature is getting polluted, the nature is getting degraded, and also all the resources are consumed. So this is the effect, if the growth of the population rate will be very high. Due to his destructive activities, man has extracted more and more minerals from the earth for new urbanization, housing colonies, national highways, hydropower projects have been built and forests have been wiped out. So deforestation, here deforestation also a main uh, issue which we have to concern about also, if we are having the growth of the population very high. Underdeveloped countries are following the policy which is causing environmental degradation. Intensive farming and excessive use of fertilizers, pesticides also polluting our soil, polluting our water. So all these things are very harmful if we have the overpopulation. Overpopulation, that means overuse of the resources, and also for our activity, that will also excessive pollution, that will create the excessive pollution to the environment, which is also very harmful for our sustainability. Okay, so these are the some of the effect of excessive use of the resources. Okay, so now I have given one question that is for the just a quick review. Um, Name one alternate energy resources. So for this you have 10-second time. Just memorize whatever I have discussed today. Yeah, your time is over and you are absolutely right. This is hydrogen energy resources. The answer is hydrogen energy resources, one alternative energy resource. Another alternative resource also we have like solar energy, like wind energy, wave energy, bioenergy, geothermal energy. All these type of energies are the alternative renewable energies which can be used instead of using the non-renewable energies. Okay, so this is again the recapitulation of the topics whatever I have taught today. That is energy resources I have taught. Yes, alternative energy source we have discussed, and also about the population growth. The derivation will be very important. It's very important. Okay, the derivation portion, you have to check the derivation and practice the derivation properly. Okay. So thank you students. Please follow the classes properly and do the assignments in time. So see you in the next class.